Okay, you ready to go here? Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Actually, I'm a minute early, so I will I will wait a few seconds for it to actually be 12 o'clock, 12 noon. I don't want to start too early, and then we can get through this. So it's 11:59. I try to start on time and end on time. Okay, 12 o'clock. All right, we're going to get this going. Okay, so happy Thanksgiving to everyone, to those that celebrate Thanksgiving in the traditional sense, and for those that celebrate Thanksgiving in maybe the more black consciousness sense, or being thankful for what's going on with you in your personal life, not necessarily the history of Thanksgiving, because we know that's kind of screwed up. But happy Thanksgiving to everyone, and I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful, peaceful, food, fun, fulfilling day. So thank you for making the I think this is our third Black Gold Nation live stream, live broadcast. So I am going to continue, excuse me, with my discussion about Black Wall Street. But let me first say, before I get too far down the line, my name is Tamani Mwandani. I am the author of the new book Black Gold Devalued. I am also a contributing member to the Black Gold movement, and the purpose of our movement is to build a nation within a nation with power for Black people. And we want to do that not because we are anti anyone else, that is simply not our nature, but because we are in fact pro-Black. And pro-Black simply means that we are for the advancement, the safety, the protection, the liberation and salvation of Black people, or melanated people in this country. So when I say Black Gold Nation, I'm really talking about people of color in this country. So that is who we are. That is what we're about. And I am having the live streams to not only better explain what our goals are, what we're doing, what we're focusing on, but to bring as many people to the table as possible, because the tasks that we have in front of us is most certainly a daunting task, in that our communities are in shambles. It's been attacked since we've been here, from slavery to now. Things have happened to the Black community on purpose, methodically, systematically, continuously, simultaneously, and all of those things have had a very, very, very negative and severe impact on the community. So what we're saying is, if Black people are going to have a future worth living in this country, then we need to do for self and build our own communities, and that is what I'm focusing on with these 4 live stream sessions, and this is the second one. The website is blackgolddevalued.com, blackgolddevalued.com. So if you want more information on myself, the book, what we're doing, while we're doing it, you can most certainly go to the website and check it out. You can also download an introduction to the book, which also gives you a better understanding of exactly what we're trying to accomplish. And the book is available right now on Amazon. It's an ebook. We are working with the editor to get the final edits done and completed, so we can get a hard copy, so we can get the book tour, which we hope to start the first week in December. So that is my introduction. Let me get to the task at hand, which is talking about the importance of Black Wall Street, or I'm sorry, Black Wall Street Revisited, recreating a new Black Wall Street, so that we can better dictate the kind of future we have in this country. So as I've said before in the last 2 sessions, the first one was an overview of what Black Wall Street was, and it was merely a community, a self-sustained, self-sufficient community from 1911 to 1921 that had a whole host of things, from businesses to school systems to banks to airplanes. It was a self-sustained community, or even a city that was outperforming its white counterpart, and subsequently was destroyed. And I am saying that having our own communities that we can own and control is the only time in this country, as a collective group, as a community, we've been able to move forward. And I'm saying, in order to do that, merely because we've tried everything else. We've tried boycotting, we vote, we march, We protest. Everything that we do has had an impact on creating some change, but none of it is the kind of impact and change we need because we still have serious issues in our communities like the school to prison pipeline, education, gentrification, redlining, poverty. All those things exist. And I am saying that we can change that, but the only way we can change that if we have our own communities that we own and control. So the top 4 reasons I gave last week as to why we need to have our own Black Wall Street is protection, economics, education, and maintaining control of the Black excellence that we produce in our children. As of right now, our kids, we encourage our kids to get a good education, go to college, get a degree, go out and get a job, have a career, and have a good life. But where we fail, and I don't think what we've thought about, is that we are giving that Black excellence back to the dominant culture, the American system that is, of course, destroying us. So we need to find a way to keep that Black excellence in-house, return that to the Black nation, so that we can benefit from the excellence that our kids produce and that Black people produce. So the top 4 reasons again is protection, economics, education, and Black excellence. Last week I talked about protection as to being one of the main reasons, if not the main reason, we need to have ownership and control of our community to protect our children, our women, our elders, and of course the community in and of itself. And for this live stream, I want to talk about economics, which is owning and controlling the Black dollar, making sure that we circulate that Black dollar as often as possible so that it benefits the community in a very huge way. So having a Black Wall Street revisited, owning and controlling our own communities, economically speaking, we are never going to have the kind of power that we need in this country if we don't build it economically and if we don't build it politically. The reason, one of the reasons why Black people are disrespected across the board and treated as we are across the board is because that no one fears us because we have no power. Despite the fact that we spend trillions in this country consuming everything, we can't make a decision as a collective and say, well, if you don't do this, if you don't vote this way, if you don't take this action, or if you abuse us in this way, we're going to divert these trillions of dollars or these multiple millions of dollars away from your company, your product, your service, and to someone else, to your competitor, or preferably to our own companies producing our own things. Collectively, we don't have that. And I'm saying as we build our own communities, as we work on owning and controlling our own communities, we of course want to own and control the economics that take place in that community. And I think all of us realize, the most sane, logical Black people realize that, okay, shopping Black businesses makes sense. Giving your money to a Black business owner that is taking care of business and treating you like a good customer, because not all of them do, is a good thing. And it's often said that shopping Black is something that we should do, and I agree. But it's very difficult to shop Black when you can't find something to shop Black with. It's good to buy Black. It is good to spend your money with Black business owners, but if you can't find them, or if they don't exist in your area, or if they don't exist in a service and are providing a service and or a product that you want or need, then it's hard to shop Black, although you may want to. So I am saying that owning and controlling our communities allows us the opportunity to own and control the economics, that Black dollar, so that we can keep it in the community and turn it over as many times as possible before it leaves the community. Now we have, within the Black Gold movement, we have a very concrete plan as to how we're going to go about securing, keeping, and turning over that Black dollar. Any Black community you go to, or any Black community that's closest to you, or even the one that you may live in, you look at where most of the money is spent, and that is in convenience stores or mini marts, in grocery stores, gas stations, washaterias, laundromats, and Black hair care. Those are probably and pawn shops and liquor stores, but we don't want to necessarily have that in the community, so I'm not including those. But those 5 things that I just mentioned are where most of the black money is spent in the community legally. We'll deal with the illegal later. And that's where that money is spent most often. So what we're saying is, if we know that these businesses exist in the community, and we know that we don't own or control these businesses, then we need to find a way to do so and get those persons that are running these businesses out of the community, not by doing anything illegal, detrimental, something stupid. No, we don't have to do that. All we have to do is set up a business adjacent to theirs or across the street from theirs, and let black people know that you used to shop at convenience store A, but convenience store B is for the black community. We're going to give back to the black community because it's owned by the black community. We're going to invest in the community. We're going to make sure that we turn over this black dollar, and we're going to use this money, use this revenue, use these profits to build and expand the community. Most black businesses, most black communities in a 1 to 2 block radius has a convenience store or a mini mart. That is an opportunity. Most people don't know that on average, convenience stores generate almost $650,000 of revenue a year. That's a lot of money. And you look at the number of convenience stores that exist in the black community from a 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 block radius, depending on how large the community is, and you're talking easily about multiple millions of dollars just from a convenience store. So what we're saying is we need to take over that revenue stream in the community. And we do that by simply starting convenience stores, opening convenience stores. And because of our connection with the community, with everything else that we're working on, the community will know that I'm not going to continue to shop at this convenience store that's owned by whomever. I'm going to shop at a convenience store that's owned by a member of the Black Nation or a supporter of the Black Nation, because that money comes back to the Black Nation. So from convenience stores to mini marts to laundromats, washaterias is also a $1 billion business that is not owned and controlled by the black community. So again, we're saying that looking at these, this low-hanging fruit, so to speak, looking at where most of the money is spent and how quickly it's spent in the community, we target those opportunities, and we slowly but surely redirect those black dollars, those black quarters, those members of the community to a business that we own and control, that's giving back to what we're trying to do. Very simple, concrete, very plausible, practical, and very, very doable. So when you start doing that, when you start taking over the convenience stores, you start taking over the mini marts, you start taking over the washaterias, then that gives you the revenue that you need to open a black grocery store. There was a sister, I think last year, the latter part of last year, opened a grocery store in Compton. And everyone, myself included, was excited because, of course, you have a sister that's opening a grocery store in the community, and that's a very, very, very good thing. But it's 2017, and we're excited because a black person has opened a grocery store in a black community. That's a sad reality. That in 2017, after having been here for 377 years, we get excited about that. So when a black grocery store opens, we shouldn't be so excited. It should be the order of the day. We open another grocery store in another city that's predominantly, that has a predomination or a large majority of black people. That should be business as usual. So what we're saying is that you slowly but surely take the convenience store, you take the mini mart, you take the washateria. That gives you revenue that you need to open a small grocery store that you can then build upon and expand. Another relatively low-hanging fruit, although it's going to take some time to get it in place and moving forward, is black hair care. I would be surprised if anyone on the stream doesn't know and realize that black hair care is a $1 billion industry, because black people are going to spend money. Black women are going to spend money on their hair because they want it to look, they want to look good. So that industry is primarily owned and controlled by Koreans. And most people don't know that the U.S. government helped Koreans move forward in that industry, and they purposefully, as usual, locked black people out of that industry. But there are opportunities in that industry by way of distribution. There are black hair care manufacturers that are producing black products, but because the distribution stream is now owned by black people, they can't get their products to market. So if you think about the scenario that we are in the process of enacting, of owning and controlling the convenience stores, owning and controlling the mini marts, owning and controlling the grocery stores, owning and controlling washaterias, all that revenue goes to create a distribution chain and shelf space. So we no longer have to necessarily shop at a beauty supply store that's owned by a Korean or an Asian or whomever. Those products can go in these locations that we also own and control until we eventually open our own black hair care supply business, and of course we'll do that as well. So when you have a community that you own and control, then you are not only able to protect the citizens, the residents of that community, which is huge, but you're also able to economically build that community up because you own and control the revenue, which is millions of dollars every year coming through the community. So just looking at these low-hanging fruit, these 5 businesses that I've mentioned, these 5 industries that I've mentioned, what can the community do? How far forward and how rapidly can the community move if we literally have control of millions of dollars? If we control 10, 20, 30 millions of dollars worth of revenue coming through the community, what can we do with that kind of money? How would the community look? How can we better educate our children? What resources can we bring to the fore that will allow us to protect the community? If we own and control our community, then police brutality is eliminated overnight. As I have said, and you will hear me say time and time again, I am a product of the Shrines of the Black Madonna. My revolutionary training it comes from living in a community that was owned and controlled by black people. I lived there for over 20 years. So I know what it's like to live in an environment that everyone knows everybody. Everyone is trying to love everyone. Everyone is on the same page. The security force that's in charge of taking care of the community and protecting the community, everyone knows. So the issues of drugs and violence and police brutality and pedophilia, crime, burglary, murder, those things that communities, black communities, are having issues with, we never had an issue with because everyone in the community was a member of the church. And I'm not saying that this has to be a religious thing. Actually, I'm trying to stay as far away from that as possible for now. But if everyone that lives in the community understands what the community is about, and they are investing in the community, and we have our own security force to protect the community, then you change the face of that community for years. And I'm not saying we do this one time. I'm saying we do this in the top 100 cities in the country. And by doing that, you totally change the dynamic of the black community, and you change the residents of that community. So when you do that, then you open up huge economic, generation-changing opportunities in the community. When we start to take over these low-hanging fruits in the community, that creates revenue streams, multiple millions of dollars in revenue for the black community. Then you have some economic power that you can do some things with. Right now, what we're focusing on is those industries that have yet to have an industry leader, that are new, up and coming, that are ripe for black people to be involved in and have a significant ownership stake in. Things like medical marijuana for now, until marijuana becomes legal in the country across the board. Things like hemp. Things like algae, which most people don't know about, and I'm still learning about. things like certain hybrids of rice. And there is another one. And new food industries, new ways of growing food and getting it to market, such as aquaponics, which is again something that I'm just learning about. So when we start to go after this low hanging fruit, and we're able to take over these businesses that are currently right now for years, for most of our lives, the convenience stores that we've been giving our money to for all of our life, primarily, pretty much, that money's been going outside the community. But I'm saying we're going to flip that. I'm saying starting next year, we're going to start buying these convenience stores and these mini marts and these washaterias. And if we can't buy one, then we'll open a new one. And slowly but surely, through our community outreach efforts and our marketing plan, redirect the patrons that are currently going to those businesses to our business. And by doing that, we create a pool of revenue that we can start doing things with. And we can start investing in these new up-and-coming, these emerging markets in this country that we can own and control. And once we do that, then you're talking about an opportunity to not only create a self-sufficient, self-contained community like Black Wall Street was, because we not only have ownership and control of those businesses, but now we have industry. I'm sorry, thank you very much, Sister Robinson. Cryptocurrency, that's a very huge one, and it's actually on my list, and I forgot to mention that, so thank you, sister, I appreciate it. Cryptocurrency, which is Bitcoin and things of that nature, which we're also working on getting involved in. So once you are able to create industry that's attached to the community, then you're talking about power. Then you're talking about being able to sufficiently and realistically take care of your community. The Black community is in the condition that is in, not because of anything that we specifically did, but because of things that the government did or did not do. If you move industry out of any community, I don't care where it is, and you start to force things like drugs into those communities, and you start to criminalize the persons that sell and use those drugs who become addicts, and then you infiltrate redlining where the good things that the community needs, like a good healthy grocery store, a good healthcare business, things of that nature that the community needs to grow and thrive and prosper. You make sure that they can't get into the community, but the pawn shops and the liquor stores, those things that destroy the community, the check cashing places, you allow those into the community. That is a systematic process that this government and local city officials have used to keep the Black community in a certain condition, which, as we see in 2017, is destroying the Black community. But when you are able to bring industry to the community, and you not only bring it, but you own and control that industry or a big piece of it, and you own and control the supply chain to that industry, then you're talking about really liberating and saving Black people, and that's what we're all about. So in a nutshell, we want to have Black Wall Street revisited, because we understand that the only way we're going to survive and thrive in this country is if we own and control our community. And that is not conjecture, that's not an assumption, that's not Tamani's perspective, it's not even hyperbole. That is our reality in this country, based on everything that's happened to us and that's been done to us on purpose. We should know that Black lives really don't matter. Black lives really don't have value like the lives of other people, because if our lives had value, then everything that's happened to us would have never happened, because we would have had value like everyone else. But if we understand that we have an opportunity, because we're already separate, to use that separation as a basis to build power, then it doesn't matter what the dominant American culture does, because whatever happens outside our walls, our fences, our community is out there. We're taking care of what we're doing in here. And again, as a product, as a revolutionary product of the Shrines of the Black Madonna, I know what that's like. I often say to people that I used to talk to in the community, trying to get them to come to the church, that the Shrines of the Black Madonna is the closest thing to heaven that black people will ever see, because it's a community that's owned and controlled by people that love you, people that are investing in you, people that want you to be better and are working with you to make you better for both yourself, your family, your community, your city, and the larger black nation as a whole. So having a Black Wall Street, having a community that we own and control, brings opportunity and freedom and justice and peace and spiritual healing and development that we're currently as a people we are not getting, because we're not giving it. We have to stop looking to other people for our liberation, our salvation, and our healing. We have to look to ourselves, because only we care enough to do it. And that's just the reality of our situation here in this country. So, as I said last week, the first reason we want a Black Wall Street is to be able to protect ourselves, protect our children, protect our women, protect our elders, and protect the community. The second reason we want to have a Black Wall Street is to control the black dollar, economic reasons, and to turn that black dollar over as many times as we can, as often as we can, so that we can reinvest those profits into the community. And next week we'll talk about the third one, which is education, being able to educate our children in the community. So how do we get to that point? How do we make it so that we are on the right track to have a Black Wall Street, or have a community that we can own and control? We are never going to be free in this country if we don't have leadership that's on the same page. We have to have leadership in multiple areas that are all trying to move toward the same goal, which is liberating and saving black people. So what we are proposing, those that are part of the Black Gold movement, what we're saying is we need to have leadership in various different departments, in various different areas, so that as we build this nation, this black nation within this American nation, we'll have leadership that's in charge of certain things, that have expertise in certain areas, so that we'll have a plan to cover multiple areas as we build this nation. So April 14th of 2018, we're going to have the first black leadership election taking place online, whereby black people will be able to go to a website, see the candidates, see the issues, which most of them probably already know, and vote for a leader of a given department to serve the black nation. We have outlined, we've done research on different countries around the world, America included, and we've taken out those departments that constantly pop up in each country, each nation, and we've added a few that we think are specific to black people, like spiritual healing and well-being. And we've said, okay, well, if these departments of these areas are needed for a nation to grow, thrive, survive, and become strong, then we need to have those same departments, those same areas in our nation. So we've identified, I think 18 as of right now, different departments that the nation needs, the Black Gold Nation needs to move forward, thrive, and survive. We have from agribusiness to spiritual healing and well-being, and we're looking for candidates to run for each department so that the larger black nation can vote for leadership that is going to move us forward as a nation in these different areas. It doesn't matter to us what your religious preference is. We don't care about your sexual preference. We don't care about your political affiliation. If you have expertise in a certain area, and you have proven yourself to love and care for black people via your work and the programs that you've done, that you've implemented, then we want your black expertise to come to the larger black nation as we build this thing moving forward. Being a member of the Shrine and having experience with what I learned from that church, that Christian organization, we got a lot of things right. The Shrine started in 1953, and the Shrine is still here. We have a lot of things right. We made some mistakes, as any large organization, but we have a lot of things right. And what I'm trying to do, coming out of that organization, I'm trying to bring the shrine's best practices to black people nationwide, so that they can understand and know what it feels like to live in an environment that's only controlled by black people. And we are looking for other black people who have industry best practices in the areas that they are experts in, to bring that back to the black nation. So ultimately, you have a whole list, a group of black people with specific expertise in different areas that we need to live and grow and thrive in this nation that we're building inside America, because it's a must-have. And by doing so, we're able to identify these black leaders. We're able to introduce them to the larger black community. We're able to see their expertise, see their books, see their videos, and see whatever they're doing. And then we're able to vote on them becoming leaders for the black nation. And each department, each office holds office for 2 years, and then there's another election. But this is going to be a huge step forward for black people, because a lot of black people, we've been programmed to believe that we can't do anything without white people, and we don't know about the wonderful things black people are doing in this country across the board. So having the election, it will be beneficial in many areas. One of which we'll be able to introduce these black leaders to other black people nationwide, so that they'll see that there are black people doing some serious things across the board in some serious areas. I've met a few weeks ago a brother who was actually, his expertise, he brought that to the table, which had us forming a new department because of what he does and what he's bringing to the nation. He has been contracted with NASA to build aquaponics food systems for NASA. This brother is a high school physics and chemistry teacher. He's been doing this for a number of years. Met him a few, maybe 2 or 3 months ago. Laid out the whole plan, talked about the book. He said, "Brother, I want to be a part, but you're missing something." And I said, "What's that?" He said, "Who's going to design the cities that we're going to live in?" And I'm like, "I don't know." He said, "Well, I love to do it. I want to run, but there's no department." So we created a department for this brother to run in because he's bringing that Benjamin Banneker expertise to the nation. And that kind of black excellence exists in the country. But we don't know about it because we're not connected to one another in a meaningful way. The brothers and sisters in California who are doing wonderful things aren't connected to the brothers and sisters in New York because we just don't, but we're going to change that. We're going to connect our black excellence as much as possible and bring them together so that we can have industry best practices per black excellence as we build this black nation moving forward. So April 14th of next year, my goal is to have 200,000 voters for the first annual, I keep saying annual, it's every 2 years, for the first black leadership election. And then once we elect the leadership, we'll then have an inauguration a few months later so that the nation can meet, the larger black nation can meet the new leadership in the different departments. And I should have had a list with me. I apologize, I do not. It's actually on my phone, and I'm using that to record for YouTube. So if you go to the website, blackgolddevalued.com, and click on the election, you'll be able to see the different departments. And if you see that there's a department that we've missed, by all means, let us know. Because this is not something where we're saying we have all the answers. We're saying, no, we have an answer. And anything you can bring to the table to make this answer that we're proposing better, then by all means do so that we can add whatever department needs to be added, or we can better hone or finalize or make better the departments that we already have. So next year is going to be the first online black leadership election. We're going to and we're asking the community, we're asking you, those that are watching the live stream now, we're asking you to think about who you know that can serve as leadership for the black nation for these first 2 years until the next election. Because that is critically important to having a nation within a nation. You're not going to be able to liberate and free black people if you don't have leadership that's on the same page. And to have that leadership, we need to find that leadership. And that leadership is out there. We just need to find them, have a conversation with them, let them know what we're doing, And I'd be shocked if most of them won't be all over the opportunity to better serve black people. And remember, those persons that are nominated for election, nominated for the election, they're already doing stuff in a given area. So we're not trying to find someone who has expertise over here to be an expert over there. No, we already know people who are doing things in these areas. We simply need to bring them to the nation, let them know about the election so they can run. And for those that do not win the election, we're going to ask them to serve as members of that department to make that department better. So if you can imagine, we have 6, 7, 8 highly qualified candidates for a given department. All of that black excellence is coming to the nation to run for office for the black nation. And 1 out of those 8, they win. But the person who do not win, they support that department to make that department better so that they can roll out a national plan for black people in that area. We're going to have black excellence that's absolutely God sent, and the things we're going to accomplish because we have that expertise that's showing us how to accomplish it is going to do. It's going to really make this effort to build a nation within a nation concrete and real in a very short period of time. And not to go off too far on what we're working on, but of course, our fundamental focus is black children. What kind of opportunities are we going to create for black children when we start having our Saturday Black History, Black Reality classes, and our black ambassadors are teaching, educating, plugging our black kids into things that are happening in the community? And as these kids as we interact with them more, we're able to better understand and learn the strengths and weaknesses of each child. We're able to say that this child has a strength in math. This child has a strength in using his or her hands. This child has a strength in spiritual connectivity. And we have national departments that are doing things for the national black community. Then we are able to direct these children to these different departments so that they can be better developed in their areas of strength, so that we have a process and a path by which we can identify, develop, foster, invest in, grow, and make better that strength that child naturally has, and keep that in the community, so that once that child goes to college and gets a degree in whatever, they bring that excellence back to the nation. We want to be able to give our children a choice. My child, my oldest, she's a senior at University of Houston. She's about to go to grad school. And because I haven't done everything that I can do with my life to make sure she has a choice, she has no choice but to take that excellence back to the system that's oppressing us. So we failed. Every generation from mine past has failed black children and failed black people because we haven't created a system, a counter system, a counterculture that black children can bring their black excellence home. So it's good to talk about black history, and it's good to talk about what we've accomplished, and it's good to talk about how great and glorious we were and are. But if ultimately we've given our children no choice but to take that back to, take their black excellence back to a system that's anti-them, then knowing that black people built the pyramids really don't matter that much. It's good to know and have knowledge of self, don't get me wrong, but what do you do with it? You can't bring it home and use it and build more pyramids because we haven't set up that kind of system. And I'm saying that's what we're going to do. And everyone that's listening to the live stream, we want you to help us do that because we cannot do it on our own. We're saying that the only way for black people to have a future worth living in this country, we must own and control our own communities. And by doing that, we create serious opportunities on multiple levels to empower black people both here in this country and abroad. And that is simply, that's a game changer as a paradigm shift. That's huge, and that's what we're working on. So I'm going to close out. So thank you guys for making this live stream on Thanksgiving. I know it's a day off, and you're probably spending time with your family, getting ready to eat some really good food, and I know what that's like because I'm about to do the same thing in a few hours. So thank you for taking the time to make the stream on Thanksgiving. If we don't already have your email address, we want you to send it to us because we want to be able to stay in touch with you as far as what we're doing. We want you to plug in to the Black Gold movement and be a part of it. And we want to make sure that we are getting your ideas, your expertise, your contributions, getting that to plug into the movement so that we can have the best of the best practices, that Black excellence moving forward. So give us your email address if we don't already have it. Share the stream with persons that you think would like to hear it, would benefit from it, would want to be a part. Subscribe to both the Periscope and the YouTube. I'm sorry, Facebook and the YouTube. Subscribe to the channel so that when we publish a new video, you'll see it. You'll know we're live. You'll be able to see what's going on. And when we start having, we're going to start having our candidate interviews. So that we can have a live interview with the candidates for the different departments, so that again the larger nation can know who these people are. So when it comes time to vote, they would have already done some research, seen the person. Hopefully, we can have a few debates or conversations about the departments and the best way to lead it, and that way you can know about the new leadership and who you're going to vote for April 14th of next year. So give us your email address, subscribe, invite other people, and go to the website. Look at what's there, blackgolddevalue.com. Read everything and internalize what we're going to do. Internalize how important it is that this thing happens. Internalize your participation in making this thing happen. Everyone is busy. Everyone is doing something. Everybody's working on something. But that doesn't mean that you don't have 5 minutes a week to do something to make sure the Black nation comes into fruition. That doesn't mean you don't have 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour. Whatever time you have, I guarantee you will find something for you to do. If you only have 5 minutes a week, when I post an advertisement on Facebook about a live stream, then you take your 5 minutes and you post that on a few Black focused, oriented Facebook group pages. It brings more people to the live stream. So if you have 5 minutes, you give those 5 minutes to the nation. If you have 15 minutes, you give those 15 minutes to the nation. If you have an hour, 2, 3, 4 hours, you give that time to the nation so that we can build this nation moving forward. And by doing that, we're able to seriously multiply the time investment that we have from hundreds of thousands of Black people nationwide. And then again, you're talking about some serious commitment to moving forward and building what needs to be built. So happy Thanksgiving. Thanks again for making the live stream. I sincerely appreciate it. And I'm going to close out with two things. One is a statement from one of my mentors, Miss Ada Edwards, whom I love dearly. And she really taught me a lot of things about liberation of Black people and community development. Just remember that no one can do everything, but if everyone does something, everything will get done. And secondly, always remember that nothing is more sacred than the liberation of Black people. So thank you very much. The next stream will be this coming Tuesday, where we'll talk about more on Black Wall Street and specifically education, which is why we need to have our own communities, and we'll go from there. So happy Thanksgiving. Thank you very much. God bless and have a good day. Bye-bye.